Hi, my name is Anna Imagination. This is Shifting Perspectives. Welcome to the Healing Garden. This morning, I'm going to talk about the foundation of mental health, the titans, as I like to refer to them. And the titans are basically three components that I talk about every day. And that is you, the conscious awareness, your identity, Freud's id, and the subconscious mind, or in this case, I will be referring to as the mind. These three titans I refer to every morning whenever I do my meditation for beginners. And the reason why is because when you sit down to do anything or make any decision in life, these three constant players are always active or they are inactive. And whether or not they're active determines your mental health. If they are inactive, your mental health is going to suffer. If they are active, all three active, and if they are aligned and they are balanced, you're going to have a pretty sweet life. But if they are inactive and or unresponsive, if they are unaligned, if they are not balanced, your mental health is going to suffer significantly and your quality of life is going to decline. So, I'm going to talk today on the aligning, the balance, and the activity level of each one of your three titans: your subconscious mind, your conscious awareness, and your identity. So, that is going to be all we focus on for this hour. So, before I begin, I want to talk about the conscious awareness and the concept of abstract thought, because this is where a lot of people struggle. Abstract thought is a concept that you can imagine something that isn't corporeal, it isn't real, it's not something you can touch. So you have things that are ideas, and then you have things that are material. And some people are really good with understanding what you can't see, and other people really struggle with it. And this is where you get into analytical thinking. This is where you get into personality types and traits. So, to help with this process, to help those who struggle with this concept, with abstract thought, I like to break down the abstract into imaginative players. That way, it's easier for teenagers if they want to jump into this. I know my teenagers, two of my teenagers are really huge into this. And it allows me to visualize it in a different light so that it goes from being an abstract idea down to an imaginative character, which makes it far more easier to understand. And then from there, you can start to understand how you, the conscious awareness, the material plane, can interact and better manage what you can't see, your abstract mind and your identity. So for me, my subconscious mind is a man, and it's a man who I refer to often as Rick. In my meditation for beginners this morning, I likened him very much to Colonel Flagg from the show MASH. I love to give my subconscious mind hilarious, insane characteristics like a soldier, a Marine, a mad scientist, where he is absolutely determined to get X done, because that is exactly how the subconscious mind functions. It's urgent, it's dire, everything is important, and he's not very he's not very smart, which I say this a lot. The subconscious mind is not smart. It really is not. The subconscious mind exists around the center of our brains where the amygdala is in the hippocampus. And it's the cognitive core, the gorgeous, beautiful cognitive core, the prefrontal cortex. That is the conscious awareness. That's you. That's your logic. That's your ability to look at something and logically deduct it. That's you, the conscious awareness. Now, one of the things that I noticed as a child was that I could not be emotional if I was logical. I noticed that The more logical I was, the less emotional I was. The more logical I was, the less fear I experienced. The amygdala cannot function while the prefrontal cortex is working. You cannot have emotions and logic happening at the same time. It's not possible. The brain does not allow for this. I don't know why. I am not a neuroscientist. I need to look into this. I'm curious now. But for some reason, you cannot be logical while you are being emotional. So as a child, when I dove into this, because my emotions were so they were insane, I deliberately worked and focused on logic to turn down my emotions. Now, I did suppress them. I went through a period where I did significant amount of dissociation, and I did turn down and suppress the emotions. But that's very, very, very unhealthy. And we're going to get into it in this episode, why dissociation is not the answer. Now, in addition to all of that, I realized that if I increased my logic and my understanding and my knowledge, that it became far more easier to navigate my subconscious mind. So when I say to you conscious awareness, I am referring actually to the logical part of your brain. I am referring to you, the material body, the individual you who is accumulating data from outside sources, from your five senses. You are the eyes, the ears, the taste, the sound, the smell. You are the conscious awareness that goes through life physically, experiencing everything, taking it all in and processing it. But you're not the one processing it like you think you are. You're turning that information over to the subconscious mind, the mind. In this case, my Rick. And he collects all of this data. And there's a lot happening that we're not aware of. This is where we refer to as the unknown. And when you delve into and you understand how this works, the unknown becomes known. Your awareness increases. And that takes you, the conscious awareness, from being an inactive player to an active player. So the way this works is like this. Right now, we have three pieces to our bodies, to ourselves, to our lives and working function as a whole. You have your subconscious mind, and that is active. The subconscious mind is always active. There is nothing you can do about that. The subconscious mind becomes inactive in only two situations. One, you're dead. That is when the subconscious mind becomes inactive. The second time the subconscious mind becomes inactive is the fifth stage of dissociation, when the subconscious mind reaches the stage of insanity and completely shuts down. Just a moment. When it reaches that level, when the subconscious mind reaches that level and completely shuts down, it's because it's no longer functioning. It's because it's basically an emergency mode, and that's when it reaches catatonic and insanity begins. That's truly like, so unless you are dead or insane, your subconscious mind is active and fully operational and fully at work. And ironically, the more the conscious awareness is at rest, the more subconscious mind goes to work, which is why whenever we lay down to go to sleep, our thoughts are going a million miles a minute. It's because our subconscious mind won't shut up. It's because our subconscious mind starts to wake up as the conscious awareness starts to go to sleep. Now, the conscious awareness wakes up, we get our days started, we go about our days, and the subconscious mind still's functioning. It's just sitting in the back. And it's still operating and it's still doing its thing and it's keeping everything running. But as soon as you go to sleep, the subconscious mind comes up forward and it takes the lead. That's when we dream. That's when our thoughts race. That's when we experience REM. A lot is happening when we sleep. The subconscious mind just is constantly working. It has no rest. I'm going to say again, the only time the subconscious mind is inactive is when you're insane or dead. So any other time, that subconscious mind is going full force. Now, the conscious awareness, and this is the delusion. We like to tell ourselves a bunch of bullshit. That's actually the subconscious mind doing its thing. but this is really what's going on. The conscious awareness, you, is actually inactive. Now you're up and you're processing data and you're taking everything in, but you are inactive because you are not aware of what's happening with the subconscious mind, because you are not aware of what's going on with the identity. You are clueless. And because you are clueless, there's a lot of information that you don't have. In fact, we know nothing about the subconscious mind. So the conscious awareness has a very, very, very back seat to playing an active role. And that puts the conscious mind, you, completely at the mercy of the subconscious mind who's running the show. According to CDC and NIM, and I'm going to say this statistic so many times over, 95% of our life choices are determined by the subconscious mind, because the conscious mind, you, our conscious awareness, is inactive. Now, the third player to all of this is the identity. And the identity is basically Freud's id. It is our wants, our desires, our dreams, and our wishes. It is the direction in life that we want to go. Unfortunately, our society, and yes, this does come down to society. Sorry, not meaning to make it a political issue, but it very much is. Our society wants conformity. Our society wants obedience. And as a result, our society has been built on getting an individual to obey and conform. To do this, they conditioned into the citizens two misleading beliefs. The first misleading belief that was thrown at us is our identity is not important. Our identity interferes with the operation of a society. The second thing we were told was that our emotions are illogical. And as a result, our identity and our emotions are both considered and defined by our subconscious mind now as irrelevant and unimportant, and they have to be suppressed. And our parents have been conditioned with this process. So our parents, as early as our birth, start working us into this boxed, conformed process of suppress that identity, suppress those emotions. They are illogical, and that is unimportant. And the identity and the emotions are suppressed, thrown away, and divided. Now, the identity, the very thing that compasses and directs your life, is invalidated, and now it is inactive. So you come along, you're born, your identity is inactive, your emotions are suppressed, your conscious awareness is clueless, which leaves of your three titans only the subconscious mind in control. And that's it. Your subconscious mind is the only thing that's up, operating, functioning, and active. Your conscious awareness is an inactive participant that just collects data and then passes that on over to the subconscious mind. And the identity is labeled as unimportant, shut down, closed down, thrown away. Emotions are labeled as illogical, suppressed, shut down, thrown away. So all that's left is a subconscious mind running and dictating your life. Now, here's the problem. The role of the conscious awareness is to captain and manage and maintain your entire life. You're the captain of the ship. That's all you are supposed to be doing. You are supposed to be captaining this ship. But if you're inactive, and you are, you're not in control. You are sitting in the corner, letting the subconscious mind do everything. The subconscious mind is just your security system. And that's all it is. It is the security system. It is the muscly grunt. It is the bouncer. It is the bouncer. You have put the bouncer in charge of your ship. That is the subconscious mind, which is why it works 24/7, is because it's the bouncer. So you have a big thug in charge of your ship. Congratulations. I know the feeling. I was there and I went, oh, well, shit, this is embarrassing. The identity is the navigator. It's the compass. It's the one who sits down with all the maps and says, I have a heading. That's the identity. But society has taught the bouncer, that's a really great analogy, that the subconscious mind is stupid and unnecessary. So it's suppressed. So we throw the identity away. We throw the navigator away. And the conscious mind, the captain, is curled up in the corner going, I don't know what's going on. I'm at the mercy of that guy. And you point at the bouncer, and the bouncer's going, all right, it's my job to keep this place safe. And yes, it's your job to keep the ship safe, but you're not captaining the ship. And that's the problem. That is the problem. Every one of us is a functioning ship with a bouncer, a security system running the show. Every one of us. And not one of us has a heading. Most of us have no direction. Some of us have a direction. We have goals, we have dreams, but the conscious awareness is just trying to pursue happiness. And the captains are going, all right, we want to pursue happiness. But the bouncer's in control. And the bouncer's going, no, that's not safe. We can't do that. And the bouncer shuts the whole system down and redirects, which is why so many of us sit down to do something and we're redirected. Is because the security system kicked in and said, nope, you can't do that. And it's not functioning. It's not working. Because we have 2 of the 3 players, titans, who are inactive. Wow, this happened a lot sooner than I thought. When I clarified it, it only took 17 minutes, and I'm going, wow, what do I talk about now for the next 40 minutes? I think I'm going to do something a little different this morning and say, I'm going to leave it here. I might do another episode later, but I think we all need to just sit with that analogy for a while. That's it. You have 3 titans who run and operate your life. You have a bouncer, you have a navigator, and you have the captain of your ship. And you're not in charge. Your security system is. And you've thrown away your navigator. Yeah. So what the healing garden does, this is what I do, is I step in and I teach you how to turn on your titans, how to turn on all 3 of them, how to align all 3 of them, and how to balance all 3 of them, and then how to get that bouncer under control and turn things down so that the conscious awareness, the captain, you can step up and say, okay, this is my goal. This is where I want to go. This is my navigational system. This is what needs to happen. And the identity is brought in, and the conscious awareness steps into its role. And that subconscious mind, the bouncer, is turned down so that it can function on what it needs to function on. So that is basically aligning, balancing, and turning activity into your 3 titans. But when you do this, your bouncer is going to protest because your bouncer is still in survival mode. And there are techniques that I have to calm that guy down. So I am going to shut it down here. I'm at 20 minutes. I know usually I talk for an hour, but I'm going to shut it down and just kind of process this for a bit. And I'm going to do a part 2 this morning where I'm going to focus a little bit more direct into how to basically get that identity brought in, turn that identity up, empower the identity, and use the conscious awareness, you, to step up and start becoming active. So once you become active, you get your identity active, and we got to work to get the subconscious mind basically under control. So thank you so much for joining me on Shifting Perspectives this morning. I will be definitely back later today to talk more on this while I process this, but thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe down below to my newsletter. I send that out every day. because you got to keep on top of your mental health. You absolutely need to be an active player. And that's just it. You need to become an active player in your mental health because it doesn't fix itself, because your bouncer is not going to let it fix itself, because your bouncer is perfectly happy the way things are, but you're not. You're not. And if you want to be happy with the way things are, then you're going to have to take control of your helm. You're going to have to take control of your ship, because your subconscious mind loves the way things are. So things aren't going to change until there is a change in management. So thank you so much for joining me. This is Anna Imagination with Shifting Perspectives. Wow.